not think of closet space the same as you do room space, but to be honest, the rules of organizing and the guidelines that apply to rooms, they apply to your closets too. So let's talk about closets a little bit today. The first place that you want to start when you're trying to organize is define your space. And you might think, well, that's easy. At their closets, I put clothes in them, I put coats in them. But I'll bet you put a whole lot more, especially if you have a cluttered closet. So think about it. In your, say, primary bedroom, you want to put your clothes in the closet, certainly, but take a look and see what else is in there. Do you have things that aren't even related to clothing? I'd like to suggest that closets are best limited to two things at most. One, clothing. Secondly, memorabilia can actually be a good thing to keep in a closet as long as you're creating boundaries. So you have one bin, maybe two bins at the most in a closet if you've got the space. Now, let's talk about what gets a little bit more interesting. And you probably think the next thing I'm going to talk about is decluttering. But I want to change the word on that because words matter. How about instead of thinking of it as decluttering, you think about it as editing? Okay, and that may be a word that you've heard used. It's a good one. So in this case, we're not just getting rid of stuff. We're editing the closet so that it fits who we are better. That can mean it fits the body that I currently have better than the body I had 20 years ago. It could mean that it fits the lifestyle that I live now rather than the one that I lived 20 years ago. Think about how does this thing make me feel when I wear it? Do I feel good and like I'm my best self, or do I feel kind of dowdy and yucky? How does it go with anything else that I have? Have I used it in the last year? If the things that you have aren't meeting those criteria, if it makes me feel good, it fits who I am now, both size-wise and lifestyle-wise, I haven't used it in a year, you might want to think about editing it out of the closet. And then I guess the last thing I want to mention, because this is just a real short talk about closets today, obviously, but rather than, as I said, thinking about decluttering, you think about editing your closet. Instead of thinking about putting things in your closet, think about merchandising your closet. So if you think about it, when you go into a store, the better stores do not have things just packed on the shelves and packed on the racks. Those are probably the stores you don't enjoy shopping at. The ones where you can actually move things and lift things and see what you want and get to them, those are the places you enjoy shopping more. Guess what? You'll enjoy getting into your own closet more if you've got some room. So, good rule of thumb, do not pack shelves or bars or anything else in the closet, drawers, more than 2/3 to 3/4 full. And then the last tip I want to share with you is something that I picked up from an organizer years ago. And I have to admit, I kind of thought it was maybe a little silly when I first heard it, but I did it. And you know what? I really, really like it. I now organize things in my closet by color. I'm not fanatical. They're not different shades of gray, but it's just gray, black, I think it's blue, red, white, and then maybe some miscellaneous. The reason I like doing this is I can find things so easy, but I can also put things away so easily because the hanger that I need is right there in that color. I'm not totally sure why it works so well, but I can tell you I spend a lot less time in my closet. I find things a lot more quickly, organizing by color. So just a few tips to get you on track with your closet. Think about editing rather than decluttering. Think about merchandising rather than stashing. And above all, make sure you've defined the space and that you are not putting things in the closet that it wasn't intended for.